It's an exciting Tuesday afternoon. We are here once again to look at issues the world emanates globally on International Forum. I am Wilson on Marshall. Today, it's all about the second wave of COVID-19. Yes, coronavirus second wave. The world is shaking also its foundation. It's like the world is going to a second standstill phase. People are talking about it. We'll be having two guests in the studio here to really talk about things like perception, the vision, opinion, and how it's going to affect you and I, yes, in this country, because the world is a global village. Before that, let's take a look at some stories making the round. Now let's take a look at what WHO is saying about COVID-19. Yes, the World Health Organization, they are saying they're going to trace the variants of this COVID-19 in South Africa and UK. From what they are saying right now, they have this stubborn, strong variant of the virus that is deadly, somewhat almost lethal, and resistant to treatment. We want to about the treatment of others. This one seems to be on another level. Now, from what WHO says, that they're going to go to these two countries, UK and South Africa, they will now trace it back to Wuhan to get to know how to really target and make this virus less lethal for it to be easy to be handled. Because the world is now shaking, saying these trends, they don't just understand it. They just don't understand it fully, how it could kill faster than other strains and variants they've seen so far. Yeah, that is what they are saying right now. We'll wait for the WHO to get to find out what the finding will be like, and let's see if there'll be other means of really tackling the spread of this different strain of virus, because we discovered in South Africa and of course in the United Kingdom. Quite scary and shocking. Let's go straight back to the US, where they're talking about packages for COVID-19 individuals. Now, in the US, US Congress have passed long-awaited deal for coronavirus aid. When this virus started operating early, or I said late last year, US already have a way of taking care of their citizens, but it has to pass through Congress, okay? Now, when the second wave came up, many people are losing their life, and this is like worrisome to the US government. Yes, they have the vaccine. Of course, they started rejecting top echelon of the society in the US with the vaccine, but they have to follow the lockdown principle. Now, when the lockdown principle is enforced, if it is in place, there may be no gathering, maybe smaller businesses going for a break, and that may affect the economic downturn of American society. So they have to set and calculate and look out for those areas to see if they can really support the citizens so they can make them very, very strong to make them bounce back after the effect of COVID-19. It has passed. And now, American citizens, they'll be getting their aid soonest, all right? U.S. Congress, they've passed the long-awaited coronavirus. So if you're in the U.S. right now, or you have someone in the U.S., not to worry, they are well taken care of. The big question now is, what about countries in Africa? What about Nigeria? Yeah. People are talking about it. Let's see what we have to pray that the impact of the second wave doesn't really get so much down to this place. Yeah, that's the hope and prayers of so many Nigerian citizens, even Africans. They are praying against it seriously. Okay, now let's move straight to what is happening in France border, in the UK border, all about COVID-19. In the border, France to allow resumption of movement from the UK. When this new strain of variant of coronavirus was discovered in the UK and of course South Africa, many countries were scared to open their borders to allow people from this country, the new strain, to enter their country. For instance, France chose to close borders that linked to the UK because of the fear of the new strain of coronavirus. But after much negotiations, and of course, everyone feels that this will really enter into France, that affecting them the way it affected UK. They're looking for a thin line, yes, a very, very thin line to make sure that if here is easier as France and the UK can go about doing their business. Yeah, that is what it's all about, socio-economic development, even in the presence of COVID-19. Now, despite the fear of the new variant in UK, France will have to swallow that fear, believe that if they can follow tenaciously, if they can follow fully the guidelines following, the prevention of COVID-19, France may not be as, infected or affected or was hit as the UK. Right? Now that is what I'm trying to find, this balance. I'm trying to know that this balance is there, because right now cafes, cinemas, schools, a crowd correct places. They've been told to like stop everything that make people come in contact with each other because of this second wave. This second wave will be prophesied or talked about by so many persons, and right now it is happening. I'm not saying after this second wave there will be no more waves. We will go back to normal. But we have to do the best possible to survive the second wave. We have to do the best possible to follow the regulations governing the fight against COVID-19. But now that France are choosing to interfere and be able to reach out to the UK, I believe there will be seamless movement from France to UK border. Yeah, that is what is going to definitely happen. All right, we want to go on a break. When we return, it's all about the second wave of COVID-19, the impact in global, social, economic, political impact in all spheres across the globe. That is what we'll be taking a look at today. I have a clergyman in the house, and of course I have a medical practitioner in the house. They're going to share their thoughts and their opinion about this global second wave of COVID-19. I believe that you don't want to miss any part of it. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. I'll definitely be right back. Do stay tuned. Thank you so much for staying tuned. You might have heard about it before the onset of all this. You get to hear about second wave imminent. Second wave is going to come. Many people just discountenance it, saying it's not going to happen, while others are saying even if it should come, there might have been something to really help the world prepare for it. The big question now is the world really prepared for the second wave? You heard about Pfizer, heard about other pharmaceuticals bringing out vaccines, saying that this may help people to combat COVID-19. Now the vaccines, some of them have been tested, some administered. Still, the world is recording massive loss of life due to the second wave. Some are saying it's coming with the winter. It became worse with the winter because the winter is all snowy and all cold. That is the reason why this second wave is like out of the hook. Don't forget also about the variant discovered in the UK and South Africa. Will the world again come to a halt because of this COVID-19? Will the world be able to really overcome it when compared with the ease with which they overcame the first wave? Are they ready for this? With me here in the studio to talk about this, I have a clergyman and of course a political analyst. Join me to welcome Prophet Jordan Iwala. Welcome to International Forum.
Thank you. God bless you.
Yeah, all right, because we read some of the publications about the second COVID-19. I was like, okay, fine, you come and enlighten us about some of the things that you foresaw as a prophet. But not to worry, to balance up all this, we'll have to look at it from the medical angle also. That's why I invited a doctor. Join me to welcome Dr. Dominic Ativier. Doc, welcome to International Forum.
Thank you very much, Wilson. Thank you, viewers, and thanks. Nice having you again.
All right. Okay. We're talking about the second wave. Some thought that it was like a fairy tale, that this will not happen because the world, before that will emerge, the world might have been prepared towards it. They might be able to garner enough support, enough muscle to repel the impact of COVID-19 when you talk about the globe in general. But right now, it's like the world is scared. They are so frightened despite the presence of vaccine. They are still saying that no gathering, maintain physical distance, stop going to work, don't go to clubs, don't go to bar. Germany initiated lockdown. France also, UK, they are all initiating lockdowns. Each country giving their own duration for the lockdown. Some said it's going for 2 weeks, others months, some 3 months, as the case may be, just to fight against the second wave of COVID-19. Let us start off from the medical direction, from the medical angle. Dr. Dominic, what do you feel about this?
Well, yes, the world has actually prepared for it. Although there's no preparation, there is ever enough. But since to have said it here in this forum and on this channel, that there will be a possibility, there could be a possibility of a second wave, which is what we are seeing right now. We've actually projected it in the world, of course in the United States, some parts of the United Kingdom, in the UK, Canada, France, and some other areas have actually anticipated it. However, like we said, no preparation is ever enough, because when the wave comes, just like it said, the wave, it can blow it out on anybody that he sees on the way. So yes, on the medical angle, the second wave is here, just like you gave in your preamble. There's a new variant that is, maybe I want to believe later in the course we'll talk a little about it. And for the vaccines, yes, there have been a lot of challenging situations on vaccines in the world. And well, only yesterday, some few hours ago, not so long, President-elect Joe Biden was one of the very privileged ones to have had the vaccines, and it's quite obvious because he had this on a live program like this, just like on a live interview, so as to put to the world, because a lot of Americans have been giving this, they have this cold feet towards the vaccines because they believe a lot of things have happened. I want to believe maybe at the course I'll be able to say a little about the vaccines, what have happened, and why the world is advocating for a vaccine. But to what end is the vaccine actually? I'll be talking about that.
All right. Thank you so much for giving us a foundation to this discussion, talking about the variants, talking about the vaccines, which we're going to throw more light on in course of our discussion. Now, as a man of God, and of course, as a citizen of planet Earth, because I went through publication, some of the things I saw there made me to, like, well, have hope. Others made me to, like, smile a little bit, and others bit me hollow because I was like, I didn't believe some of the things that you wrote about the second wave of COVID-19. Take it up from there, Prophet.
Thank you very much. I want to say that the COVID-19 has its peculiarities. We Africans, we have our sicknesses. The Europeans, Americans have their sicknesses. One of my friends a few years ago came home and got back to Italy. And she contracted malaria. When she got to that place, they quarantined her because of malaria. She said anybody coming to see her will be kitted with all the kits and boots. They will fumigate, sterilize the person coming to see her in where she was quarantined. I said, malaria, we are eating here and drinking here together. So the COVID-19 is like another malaria we have here. And the peculiarity I want to associate it with the whites. Because during the first wave, it claimed many lives there. In Africa, it didn't much. Me and you, we know. We don't have any facility, we don't have anything. We all survived it. Even the few people that contacted it came from overseas. Those overseas movement people. But however, the second wave now that is here, power belongs to God. I saw this coronavirus in the spirit. And the second wave will be very hard. Very, very hard on people. I wish our leaders can learn that we are Africans, we are not Europeans, we are not Americans. They should peculiarize our own in our own African way. The Uyghurs did theirs, giving their people money, giving them food, everything. They didn't give us anything. They shouldn't treat us the way they treat the Uyghurs are treating their people. Lockdown, lockdown, lockdown. Well, lockdown is good. I'm sure. My friend, as I was discussing with my friend a few days ago, my friend said, Nigerians abroad, in Italy precisely, they are asking for the second one to come because they enjoyed during the coronavirus. While we suffered here during the coronavirus. We suffered here. They provide them with money, with food, everything they need. They even go as far as hanging food on the highways for people that doesn't have food to come and eat, to collect. We don't have such things here. So we will not hear lion, we'll start running into the house. No. Our leaders should know that we are Africans. The first phase didn't claim lives here. Whether they like it or not, let them not politicize it. But I know there are deep mysteries behind this. Either diplomatically, either by political motivations, there are mysteries behind it. We should be able to scan it before we start running like other people.
All right. I will come back to you. You said it's going to be hard, the second wave, but if we're able to handle it, we ought to handle it. It will not be that difficult for us, right? I will come back to you. Now let's talk about the variant that seems to be causing so much fear in the hearts and minds of health practitioners, especially in the UK and, of course, South Africa. What is the difference between the first wave coronavirus And this second coronavirus that has a kind of a high capability, well, let's say a high lethal rate of eliminating individual once they're exposed to it, Doc?
Well, scientifically speaking, this second wave actually have not been completely proven to be that lethal. However, it following trends. When you have a first wave of a particular disease entity, chances are the second wave would have been mutated. So it would have some form of genomic involvement, and then genetically it may become more, it would have followed a particular chain that even treatment might be very difficult to permeate. However, like we said, now this COVID-19 or coronavirus as it were, it was novel. Sometimes December last year, is January, February, March. Now this second wave, we've never had a wave before. So that's why researchers and scientists have done a lot of work to see, okay, for this wave that has come in, what is the problem? What are the challenges associated with it? Now, for this second wave, it has a strain, well, generally, we call it, generally COVID, we call it SARS-CoV-2. But this particular strain, this new wave, this new variant that's causing a lot of challenges, the B1.17. B1.17, it's been seen in some parts of the UK, and for the last 2 weeks, the changes has been quite enormous. You know, it has actually taken a lot of shapes. If you recall, sometimes back, our viewers have been following on this channel, we have had at some time I was invited here, I did discuss that these viruses can actually mutate depending on the locality, the area, and then certain environmental factors that are associated with them. So yes, in South Africa too, yes, that is what we've seen. That strain, that variant, which is B1.17, it's bringing out its ugly head. The uniqueness about why people are more scared and feel, okay, this might be a little lethal, is because of the fact that the virulence nature can affect children. Now, unlike the first wave we had, children could be affected, but over time, you know, we said just like compared to the adults, compared to the elderly, they probably have better immunity to fight some of these, depending on the age grade we're talking about. But here, for this second variant, it could affect children, and it has been said to possibly affect that they could die, could just lead to some form of mortality. However, we've not been able to get a lot of figures in terms of death rates from this for now, but chances are, just like we projected earlier, that if measures are not taken, it may become very, very prominent and so bad. In fact, just in West Africa, Nigeria, only 2 days ago, there's a professor and a researcher from University, Redeemer University, somewhere in Osun State, had actually discovered that. Now, in his claims, now, I want to use that as a claim because it has not been
hypothesis.
Yes, it's a hypothesis, but he have actually done the research and the work. He said that sometime in August, he got that sample of the particular patient was extracted, and then he was able to discover that this virulent strain, now we're talking about the second wave, which is the B1.17 strain. And sometimes in October too, he was able to extract that from somebody in Nigeria. Now, okay, this is just a new thing. It just came up only yesterday. We're still subjecting it to intellectual reasoning, and we're subjecting it to, okay, could it be true? If yes, does it mean it's already in Nigeria? And if it's in Nigeria, what are the measures we must take?
If it's in Nigeria, what are the measures we must take? Now, you're talking about the difference in treatment between people overseas and people in African countries, because they are basically on shutdown. No going to cinemas, no gathering. You can't even come around to sing Christmas carol because of the violent nature of COVID-19. Now, should everyone globally follow the same measure in tackling the spread of COVID-19?
Thank you very much. We are not the same with Oyibo. we always try to be like Uibo, and we cannot be like Uibo. In the US now, the Pfizer and the biotech medicine, the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine, they have been randomly testing it with some health workers, both in US, both in UK. And we have been seeing, reactions in some people that have been inoculated with the vaccine. And there is still no certainty of the position on pregnant women and nursing mothers. They are still, it's still skeptical. They are not certain about the result. So the testing is like, they can test in one person, the person will die. They can test in another person, the person will react, another person will feel okay. So there is no certainty so far about it. Therefore, we should be very, very methodical in the approach. We shouldn't be like other people. We don't have to be like Uyibos. I'm sure if Uyibos, if they pass through what we pass through in Africa, they will not be able to survive. So they have their own peculiar nature. We have our own peculiar nature. Given the random sampling of the Moderna vaccine, for COVID-19, I think there is still much fear, because the mystery behind COVID-19 is still unknown. Therefore, let nobody die before the time, because of the fear we have been. Whether second phase, whether the variation in the COVID is immaterial. It is totally immaterial. Let the Uyibos start analyzing it in their own way. We are here. God will be with us the way He has been with us. We don't have food, we don't have water. We don't have anything. God is still with us. Yeah, we only need food. We have enough sunshine here. We have enough sweat in here. So we are not apprehensive of that. I am not trying to say that clinically people should relax. The transmissibility of the COVID-19 in the UK variation of the COVID is still not certain. So the way we heard about it initially, we were thinking one person has it, everybody will just die. And some people in Nigeria, they claim they had it. Their families didn't die. And they remember when the first phase came, they were talking about the treatment. 9,000 contacted it, 2,000 discharged. There was no remedy yet. The remedy is just coming out. Still not totally the remedy. There is still much deficiency. There is no guarantee yet. They are still trying. I hope this is not another neo-colonialism. I am afraid. Let nobody open markets in the name of anything in Africa. Let them do the market there and have it there. We are here. Right.
You just downplay into conspiracy theory. Who will come to that? Now, he talked about Pfizer and, of course, other biotech that are talking about production of the vaccine. It seems to have faced so much uncertainty. Those some were inoculated, they said they felt better, while others, the result varies. Now, should the world depend on this vaccine?
Well, that's quite technical. The answer will be yes, but no.
Yes, but no. How?
Yes, depending on how you look at it now, and from what angle you're looking at it from. We know that ultimately, for there to be a complete cure, or for us to be off this phase of COVID, whether it is COVID-19 in the year 2020 or COVID-19 in the year 2021, one of the ultimate means to do that is to get a vaccine. Sometime we spoke about, during the first wave, we spoke about herd immunity, the dangers of herd immunity, and then we said that ultimately vaccine is key when there's vaccine. And now these vaccines are beginning to come. We've already said in our past discussions here how many years it could take to get a vaccine, the closest period, the shortest possible times in terms of months to get. Now all those is now technically in the past, because in the present here we already have these vaccines. Now, not to becloud our minds concerning whether or not those vaccines that were inoculated on those people had problem. Yeah, Pfizer did some good work, biotech did some good work. Now, during the course of his, during the course of Prophet's discussion, he did said there's been this wearing challenge concerning pregnant women, whether or not they should get those vaccines. Now, when they're doing clinical trials, usually, we do not want to subject it to pregnant women because cases are dealing with not just one person, but 2 in 1. So you want to have tried it on the phases. Now they've done the animal phase, they've done all that, and then they're doing human trials. Now for the human trials now, the fact that person A took it and had a problem and person B survived, person C neither here nor there in terms of toxicity and adverse drug effects, chances are certain factors were probably not put in place, or even if those factors were put in place, are questions, there are certain questions that needed to be answered. What are those questions? For person A that you gave to him, were they subjected under the same environment? By the same environment, I mean under standard temperature and pressure? Do they have everything in common? Now we're talking about, if you're using sex, for example, are they of same sex? Are they of same race? Are they of same environment? Now, if that is the case, now there are some inbuilt inner things that could be in there. Do they have the background comorbidities? If one probably the person A, or let's say sample A, which is the person, and sample B, now another person. If sample A, for example, have some comorbidities, probably has got asthma, has got maybe retroviral disease, or some cancers, you wouldn't compare that with person B, which is relatively normal without any of those. So that's an adverse drug reaction following vaccine inoculated on person A has some reaction, does not truly mean that that will be the situation in the whole populace. That is why, again, for those reactions, they are welcome reactions, so that further researches will go on those persons. They will subject them again and check what exactly made person A reacted as to person B. So yes, we must give credit to the world because they're already working tenaciously, they're already working tirelessly to ensure this come to pass. And then, of course, it's coming. I understand very well, like I said, there's a lot of controversies concerning vaccines. Some persons have said, just like he was saying about neocolonialism, you know, a lot of conspiracy theories. You know, people are saying, okay, it happens, the black race, they want to eliminate them. Of course, even sadly, I read some time ago, which is, well, of course, it's still under some form of scientific objective reasoning, where the president of Madagascar said some words a few days ago about WHO and then vaccines. Now, well, that will be doubling into controversies. Well, people are still analyzing that, but what is more important is currently we have the second wave with us. What might we do to advert to the sinister effects? Now, like I said, transmissibility, that is, it is wave 2, which is the second wave, is more transmissible, about 70-75% times more transmissible than wave 1. We have to be very mindful of that. So that is the reason why a lot of lockdowns have been in Canada, in France. In fact, in France just right now, they are unable to, you can't even cross the border anymore because of this strain. They wouldn't want their citizenry to be bedeviled by this particular strain. Now, what are the measures to do? I'm sure during the course of the discussion.
But before we go into what to do, now you talked about Pfizer and biotech doing a good job or a great job. If they've done a great job, I'll come back to you shortly. How come the world is scared?
Okay.
We're talking about vaccines, we're talking about great companies right now. Say, these are the vaccines we've produced. How come the world is afraid?
You know, anything done in a hurry actually should be questionable. Now, they're taking their time. Now, I know that there isn't time, critically speaking. But, you know, prior to this time, we're not even talking about vaccines. We're only advocating and praying and saying that, oh Lord, in the prophet's word, now let there be a cure for this. Now, people are already objectively looking at it in that angle, and they've come up with something. Okay, critics will criticize it and say, oh, no. Yes, we can actually understand from the angle they are taking. We cannot discarding the baby and the baitwater. Yeah. We are trying to observe, okay, they might just be saying something that is reasonable. Can we further resubject their claims or their ideas to further clinical search? Now, that is what they are doing. So for Pfizer, I cannot discredit them. They are working tirelessly. Trust me, they are already taking all the complaints, all the grudges, and all the worries of people. That is why you could see from the you could see that there's this dichotomy, there's this difference in the leadership style of President Trump and President-elect Joe Biden. And Joe Biden has come up because he's saying there's this pragmatic approach. We have to go for these vaccines for treatment of COVID. Americans are dying, people are, now what are the first measures? This is the vaccines. I want to start taking the vaccine just like some other health personnel have taken. They've inoculated it on him only yesterday. So watching the Vice President Pence too.
Pence, yes.
Did same, he took, we're watching them, and watching President-elect Joe Biden. Now, if these persons will come up to the world and say, hey, world, look at it, I've just been injected. Fine. Now a lot of people have in this other controversy, oh no, that they could just be showing us for the gallery, maybe nothing was injected there and all that. But let's watch and see. We're still watching, but we must give credit to who credit deserves.
All right, we are still watching. They've been inoculated. Let's see if it's going to have that effect. Now, France, Germany,
Canada,
UK,
Italy.
Canada, Italy, you just name it. They are all shutting down. Do you want Africa to follow suit?
Nothing is happening in Africa. We have had enough of poverty and suffering. This one cannot succeed here again. Historically, the state when gonorrhea came, it killed so many people like every other disease. And Ebola came, HIV came, we are still here. People are staying in a Ashawu hotel.
What's the correction of the words right now, Prophet, please?
I'm coming.
Yeah.
Why? We are talking now. Nothing is too big. So they are still there. The commercial sex workers in the hotels, if you want to put it that way, they are still there. And some people are still boiling water to drink. Some people are drinking pond water, still living strong. Therefore, life belongs to God. Power belongs to God. So far, Joe Biden has taken the vice president, his vice has taken. Donald Trump has not taken. Has not taken. I want to believe that we shouldn't emulate anybody. We should be ourselves. The children of Israel, they were asking for a king. God said, no, I didn't make you to be like other nations. They insisted for a king. And when the king came, they all started suffering. We don't have to be like the whites. They are whites, we are blacks. We should be ourselves. The COVID-19, like I said earlier, the government shouldn't follow the whites. If they follow the whites, the suffer I saw in the spirit was much. I saw people looking for coconut water to drink as water. I saw people using coconut water to clean their body as water for bathing. Showing you the hardness and the harshness of the lockdown. Normally we buy water here. Government doesn't have water. We buy water, whether dirty or clean water, we buy. Therefore, the lockdown, if it comes, there will be no fuel, there will be no diesel, there will be no generator anywhere, nothing. Therefore, we should be ourselves. I hope our leaders are listening. I have already guided.
Of course, they're watching, they're listening.
I have guided the world presidents, the African leaders in particular. We should Africanize whatever that is coming. We have malaria here so much and typhoid. I'm sure Igbo doesn't have it. We still survive them. This one is not new. Let us find a way to make our people comfortable. Leave the wave, leave the fear. The monster of COVID-19, I want to believe is being politicized. Let us relax. Well, they are shouting, lion is coming. We are here. I'm talking to our leaders now to beat themselves. Then, like my brother said, the Igbos, in the photo, they pray for them. I'm sure the prophet is for the office. We pray for them. This is what we can now. We can now. If the master missing our score, like that. Why am I our own African history? I'm not saying the master is yeah, how can you actually be lost? It's our lose heart. It's still for life.
How come it's a little bit like the competition and say as well talk about number of Sunday it was a state now how you feel the lockdown we shouldn't as a competition.
No, again, that's the cool one. Look at it very often. When you say lockdown, because we have consequences as challenges that we're doing the first wave and we're managing lockdown. Again, we're not saying the all to lockdown. Because if what's going to government, I only worry the level of total lockdown is hard on every press, everything that we're doing, everything that makes us good. Every in Africa has not prepared community to be able to take this away. It is the same, like Supreme to say, what's the antidotes that will be brought to us to use the suffering and come and take the face away second. Now, if all these body properly looked at, on top down, the parts of lockdown just the economy, whatever sector indicated from the angle of inflation, look at it from the entertainment industry, the fishing industry, everything was shut down. When it shuts down, economy is zero. Now, in sometimes ago in Nigeria, in Africa, we had this following reopening, development of schools and airports and everything. We had yes, report time, we lose. And all the consequences, those things were special for the child that the free us. Even though let's say that that is time. So this is what set off. Now it's a time that really, so there was a African religion. This is not Africa, during the second year. Now, from the religious angle, that's the first of the but yes, that's that. From so, and then you put that much into these are not robbers in the examples. It's trying to tell you that the world will suffer, or Africa will suffer, particularly inflation, not only the EU, but it's a social conflict that in Nigeria and Lagos. So if you those two, all survive. Now, the point is, the world of challenges from if measures, appropriate measures are made. The world is shutting down because they are saying that the best way and there's no stressful chance and some will suffer in the first place. So we want to have this system against them. This is what the message is. So just like America here back in Nigeria, the federal government and making measures to ensure since someone taking the boost, stay at home and work from home and all that, not too long. That is the best way. Now, said also the government in Nigeria also saying that the top houses, please away from all that. That is ownership chain. Now, in Nigeria, after the legislative right, the government is taking that all full on that since. Now, I was going to the largest order bonus. Not completely take it. Who can see? Go down the economy of the host country. Because we take the bonus, let's say leadership was going to do this in America. How you present next 2 weeks. So now we are trying to watch. Let's keep all the measures to the physical distancing, use face masks, let's have the advocacy, be continuous on. Let everyone and those measures are going to use before now to them that. Tell you that I want to live. Yes, I just don't verify.
I was thinking the workers we have in Nigeria are people paying 5,000. So I'm doing that children, and you want to drop that go. The first lockdown, my friend in Italy was telling me that they were paying people 380,000 naira in our own naira value, 380,000 every month. They still give them another card for the purchase of food. And those ones were praying, let it not even be over, let the lockdown continue. But here, the income per capita is so low that people are already dead.
Well, people are not dead. Please, what's the condition of the world?
Live here. Let us do it. Our leaders, it's like they feel that everybody is eating like they in the government house. It's not the same thing. Look down and see. You see what the people are suffering. So you cannot think of lockdown when the people ordinarily don't have income. Some live by daily income. People from probably sell pure water. The son, the daughter, all of them will carry pure water and start selling for them to eat daily. How can you lock down? You want to kill them. The people in government, you are paying 25,000, 30,000, even the minimum wage have not been paid, have not been accepted for payment. 30,000 naira cannot afford anything for any home. So how can you talk about lockdown? You are hearing Oyibo is locking down, you are running to lockdown. How can you lock down? If you want to lock down, give us what Oyibo, are giving their people, including Nigerians abroad. They still give them the same. My friend said, if you have a child or two, they give you more. If you have a shop, they give you more because you are licensed to trade. They will give you more money to cushion the stress of the lockdown. We should not think about it of locking down. Although I think our leaders, most of them don't even know what the people are suffering. If they know, we wouldn't be the way we are by now. Therefore, the second phase, the first phase, the third phase shouldn't concern us.
We're looking for the third phase right now.
Let us close our ears and our doors. Remember, when he came, people were shouting as if everybody is going to die the next 1 week. And we are all here. We are all here. So, I want to believe, you remember the clinical analysis given before, the chloroquine-related discovery that we're showing you it is malaria-related sickness or infection. And I thank God by the research so far made now, it is not as transmissible as we perceive. Therefore, let the phobia, the fear of wiping out the whole generation, leave us alone. Let our leaders, let them be African enough to guide their people in our own peculiar way. They are giving money. They are not giving money here. They should allow the people move around. And the inoculation now, the way we are perceiving, it is going into political calculations, of which our people might not even allow it, even though.
Wow. Interesting. Now, this brings to mind conspiracy theory about some companies trying to go into vaccine production so they kind of have this boost in sales, hence the hype, so to speak, of the second wave. As a medical practitioner, what do you feel about this conspiracy theory?
Well, if you're not licensed to actually go into that aspect of...
And in addition to that, please, NAFDAC says that Nigeria may just be able to produce our own vaccine. Yeah.
Well, if you're not licensed to produce vaccines or go into such clinical researches, there won't be any need for you to do that. But I agree that during the course of the first wave, a lot of our scientists in Africa and in Nigeria, to be precise, have been working tirelessly to see that they come up with a possible cure in terms of either medications to take or vaccines. And yes, we are not to be quick to discard whatever it is that they are producing. Well, for now, none have actually come out clearly to say, I have this full vaccine well prepared and ready for clinical trials or for human trials. Well, it's still been on some form of clinical trials on certain animals, guinea pigs, and there are also other animals, but not to humans for now. So for those persons that are actually in a hurry because it looks like that's where the gold is, that's where the diamond is, that's where everybody wants to go in to see how they could fetch money, let's be careful. We have to be very careful with what we wish for ourselves and what we wish for others. It could just boomerang. Now, assuming such individuals come up and then they are very sure that these things have been done, this vaccine is now out and all that. If I were the person that wants to, okay, now take it to the next level, I'll tell you, could you bring your wife or your child?
Let's test your wife first.
Let's do that testing then first. Let's observe over a particular time. Because yes, when it gets to Africa, when it gets to this part of the world, we want to play politics with lives. We want to play whatever it is.
All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Our time is up. As a man of God, 30 seconds. Just advise the world, advise Nigerians, and of course Africans, how to prepare for the second wave. Quickly, briefly.
I want to advise our leaders in Africa in particular. I want to advise our leaders in particular in Africa. Let them not be like the wise.
All right.
Let them provide all that is needed. Ordinarily, we don't have hospitals. We don't have food. They should supply all these things before you talk about lockdown. You don't lock us down without anything.
Thank you. Medical practitioner, 30 seconds, please, quickly.
Yeah, for the first or second time now, I agree with what the prophet said.
Yes.
Let's our leaders prepare for this second wave, and let us keep up to the rules and regulation governing hand washing, physical distancing, and hygiene.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. I appreciate a wonderful analysis. Let's see what the second wave will be like in this part of the world. Just stay safe, okay? Bye for now.